Karrion Kross makes his impressive in-ring return. R-Truth is hosting the Slammies, and Stone Cold Steve Austin praises Pat McAfee. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. Karrion Kross makes an impressive in-ring return on NXT and will face Damian Priest at New Year's Evil. Karrion Kross made his highly anticipated in-ring return last night on NXT after almost 4 months of recovery. The former NXT champion showed no signs of ring rust when he squared off against Desmond Troy and made quick work of his hopeless opponent. Despite his strong showing, it was Kross said at the end of his match that made the NXT universe excited for the upcoming NXT New Year's Evil event on January 6th. After his match with Desmond Troy, Karrion Kross looked at the camera and challenged Damian Priest to a match at NXT New Year's Evil. It should be noted that Kross made his return to NXT on last week's episode by attacking Priest after the latter poked fun at the Herald of Doomsday. Later in the night, WWE NXT officially confirmed that the match between Kross and Priest will take place at the New Year's Evil event in 3 weeks on January 6th. This will mark the first time that the Archer of Infamy will go one-on-one with Kross in NXT. Kross, who's currently undefeated on the Black and Gold brand, had previously relinquished the NXT Championship. He sustained an unfortunate shoulder injury in his match at NXT TakeOver 30, where he defeated the current Raw superstar Keith Lee for the aforementioned title. R-Truth to host the 2020 WWE Slammy Awards. Earlier this week on WWE's The Bump, R-Truth joined the cast to break some news by sharing an exciting announcement. Step aside, Todd Pettinghill, because R-Truth will host the 2020 WWE Slammy Awards next Wednesday, December 23rd. The ceremony will be on a variety of platforms, including the WWE Network, YouTube, and Facebook. The 45-time current reigning and defending WWE 24/7 champion will certainly bring a fun, lighthearted approach to the ceremony. It should draw comparisons to Pettinghill back in the 90s when Slammy Awards were a standalone special on the USA Network. Over the years, the Slammies have pretty much just been regulated to segments in between matches on random editions of Monday Night Raw every December. Some years, the concept was forgotten about completely and not even utilized at all. The idea of WWE bringing back the Slammy Awards as a standalone special has intrigued the WWE universe. They are excited to see what type of presentation the company has planned for next week's award show. Bray Wyatt comments on a potential horror movie about The Fiend. Bray Wyatt has been involved in some of the most creative WWE segments and matches since his alter ego, The Fiend, was introduced to viewers in 2019. Now, there's a slight possibility that the lore of The Fiend could transition over to a different medium, one where Wyatt could express his creativity without being restricted by the shackles of WWE. A fan on Twitter proposed the idea of the Fiend-themed horror film by tagging Bray Wyatt and frequent WWE collaborator Jason Baker. Jason Baker has been one of the main collaborators with Bray Wyatt when it comes to the Fiend character. He had a key role in creating the Fiend's mask and also the trademark lantern. Baker has also worked in the art department for WWE several times in the past. More recently, he was the special effects supervisor for WrestleMania 36 and the Extreme Rules The Horror Show. The special effects artist also replied to Bray Wyatt regarding the subject of a horror movie about The Fiend. Blumhouse Productions is behind some of the most popular horror/thriller movies of the modern age, such as Split, Get Out, Halloween, and The Invisible Man. Bray Wyatt has taken a keen interest in a potential movie about his horror-themed character. It would be interesting development if he gets Blumhouse to produce the aforementioned project. Stone Cold Steve Austin praises WWE NXT star Pat McAfee and says he's doing a really good job. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the great minds of the pro wrestling business, who had an incredible character that changed the face of WWE in a few years. Austin these days is an interviewer and has had his own show called The Broken Skull Sessions on the WWE Network. Austin was a guest on ESPN's Monday's Tailgate show, where he was asked about the performances of NFL players like Pat McAfee and Rob Gronkowski in WWE, saying, quote, "Hey man, he puts it all on the line. He's going for it. I think his verbal skills, he's slaying everybody. But he's not afraid to go out there and put it all on the line. You wouldn't expect that from a guy who goes out there and kicks a football. But McAfee, is a badass. I think he's doing a really good job. I'd give him a solid A," end quote. Austin also commented on Gronkowski and stated that the 31-year-old is one of his favorite players of all time. He said that Gronk winning the 24/7 title was well executed, but stated that title pales in comparison to the World Heavyweight title. The Hall of Famer gave Gronkowski a solid B+. Cameron Grimes is out of action for 4 to 6 weeks due to an injury. This week on NXT, it was confirmed that Cameron Grimes will be out of the ring for action approximately 4 to 6 weeks due to a leg injury that he suffered during last week's episode of NXT. After he lost to Tommaso Ciampa last week, Grimes was the victim of an assault from Timothy Thatcher, who snapped his leg after being confronted. Days later, on December 11th, the NXT injury report confirmed that Grimes had suffered an injury from Thatcher snatching his leg, but did not provide any timetable for his return. It was revealed that the Technical Savage will be missing in-ring competition for the rest of the year. Since NXT's injury report is a blend of legitimate and storyline injuries, there's no telling whether Grimes' injury is legitimate or part of a storyline, or him just taking some time off. Thanks for watching today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. Follow us on all of our social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.